Vừa qua thì Tổng thống Hoa Kỳ ông Donald Trump đã ra một cái tuyên bố gây sốc liên quan đến cái việc mà đầu tư để định cư Mỹ theo chương trình EB-5. Thì Tổng thống Trump đã đưa ra một cái loại hình thức mà theo ông là ưu việt hơn chương trình định cư Mỹ theo diện EB-5, đó chính là thẻ vàng của Trump Gold Card. Thì theo ông thì cái số tiền đầu tư là 5 triệu đô la sẽ có rất nhiều khách hàng tiềm năng sẽ đăng ký và trở thành công dân của Hoa Kỳ trong tương lai. Vậy thì cái điều này nó có khả thi hay không? Hôm nay chúng ta sẽ có được cái sự tư vấn rất chuyên nghiệp của cô luật sư Jennifer Hermansky. Cô Jennifer Hermansky là một cái luật sư của hãng Greenberg Traurig và cô rất nổi tiếng trong cái lĩnh vực đầu tư và định cư EB-5. Cô đã đến thị trường Việt Nam từ những ngày sớm nhất của cái thị trường đầu tư và định cư. Và ngày hôm nay tôi rất hân hạnh đã có cô Jennifer Hermansky để tham gia cùng cái video này. Và xin phép tôi sẽ hỏi bằng tiếng Anh với cô. Trước hết, Jennifer, first question would be, we know that the President Trump announced some details or his ideas about the Trump Gold Card, but we know very little details at the moment. So do you have any other information to share to the Vietnamese investor about this new initiative?
So at this time, we know that President Trump has announced a plan of his to have a new type of investment green card to the US that he's termed the Gold Card. So initially, President Trump made this announcement during a press conference. He did not give very many details during the press conference other than the fact that he wanted the investment amount to be $5 million US dollars. And at that time, we weren't sure what the program would really look like. We don't know if he intends to replace the existing EB-5 program or if this will complement the EB-5 program in some way. Maybe we'll change the EB-5 program eventually, or like many other countries in the world, maybe we'll have two investment immigration options moving forward, which would be a real opportunity for the US. And perhaps in the future, we'll have more details about this program and whether or not it will be an investment with the government or an investment in private business, or what some more details look like. He did have a second press conference during his cabinet meeting, and he spoke with our U.S. Secretary of Commerce, Howard Lutnick. And during that second press conference, they gave a little bit more detail. He actually said that the Trump Gold Card might work somehow in tandem with the existing EB-5 Green Card program. So we don't have much more details than that. We're not sure if this is going to be some sort of asset purchase or private investment in business, or an investment somehow with the US government, or even just a donation to the government, which other countries in the world have similar programs to that. So President Trump did say that we would get more details in about 2 weeks' time, but I will say that preparing a new type of investment visa program and getting all of the ideas together for that, it will take some time. So investors should understand that putting together details for making a new law and for making a new program of investment to the US, it'll take a little bit of time for us to get more details out of the government as to what the program will look like.
Okay, so we know this is a great idea, maybe a great idea by President Trump, right? Yeah. Can you explain the process from a great idea into law, right? And what sort of time frame are we looking into?
So in our US law system, the US Congress is the branch of government that's actually in charge of immigration laws. So usually the president can have an idea about a new investment program, and he can prepare plans for what that program would ultimately look like. But then he will need to share his plans with our US Congress, because that is the branch of government that actually will need to write the law and then pass the law. So this would have to follow our normal legislative process where one of our senators or one of the individuals in our House of Representatives, they would actually be the person in charge of writing a new law, writing a statute. And then from there, it would go into another process we call the committee process. And the committee will be a bunch of people in our US Congress and their staffers getting together and really putting all of the details in place for what the new law would look like. And in that process, they might talk to many people. They might confer with the Commerce Department or the USCIS to find out how they should make the law and what details should be in the law. And then after it leaves the committee process, it goes to the floor of our houses of Congress to be debated. And they will debate on it. And once they have finished that, it'll go for a vote in both of our houses of Congress. And after that, after it passes both houses of Congress, it would go to the president to be signed into law. And so, as you can imagine, that process takes some time. It's not quick. When we are passing new statutes, we take time to do that. And these processes are put in place for a reason so that all of the details can really be thought through and the law can be written correctly. And the two houses of our US Congress come together sometimes and work out the differences that both of them have in order to pass the law. So last time we were waiting for our EB-5 law to be changed, that took about 15 months for that to be drafted and go through a process. So it's not quick, but it's not quick for a reason, because when we pass the law, we want it to be correct, and there's a lot of details and other important points that have to go into that. And so as a result, it's not a rushed process.
Sounds like it's not going to happen in a few months' time.
No, I don't think so. Yeah.
So we know that that's his idea, but is the EB-5 program closed or is it open? And how, if some investor is interested in the EB-5 program, how much time they have to maybe consider and invest in the program?
Excellent question. This is, I think, at the front of a lot of investors' minds right now, what's going to happen to EB-5. Because President Trump did mention at first that this gold card program might actually replace EB-5. But it is actually not easy either to take away an existing law. There would have to be a full process that would repeal our existing EB-5 law. And in April of 2022, our US Congress actually passed the EB-5 Reform and Integrity Act of 2022. That went through the full legislative process that we just talked about. It took about 15 months to do, and a lot of input by many parties went into that law when we passed it. And that was just government people, it was people at USCIS giving feedback, it was the stakeholders like lawyers and investors and our trade industries, everyone providing comments and thoughts on that type of process. And as a result, we got past the EB-5 Reform and Integrity Act. That extended the EB-5 law through September 30th, 2027. So as we were just discussing, we can't just take away that law by action of the president. We would need to repeal that law and then put a new program in place. And that process would be done by our US Congress. So right now, the EB-5 program is still in place. It is there through September 30th, 2027. And importantly, when the law was passed, in 2022, there were a lot of protections that actually went into the law for the benefit of investors. One such protection was that investors who make their investment and file their EB-5 petition before September 30th, 2026 are grandfathered under this law, meaning that the USCIS is obligated to continue deciding their case and the families can move through the green card process even if our Congress does not extend the current EB-5 law past September 30th, 2027. So there is explicit protection for investors in the existing law that would allow for you to make an investment now and continue through the immigration process without worrying about what our Congress will do or renew in the future beyond 2027. So definitely EB-5 is still here. And importantly, it's $800,000, not $5 million.
Great news.
A significant discount. Yeah. And it's a good program, and a lot of people have support for EB-5 because its current program creates jobs for U.S. citizens. And so that is something that Americans in general like, that foreigners are making direct investment into the United States and creating jobs for U.S. workers, as opposed to, just paying some fee to get permanent residency. It benefits the investor and it also benefits our economy. So it's a program that in general has a lot of support behind it, which is why it was passed in 2022 and why it still exists today.
Right. Thank you so much.